where we're supposed to be, okay? So, one. Before I take it back, there's two different arguments. Some people say I should have my feet in to have what they call as hooks, or some people say that I should have my seat belt. One arm under, one arm over, and generally this, the hand that's under, on top of this hand, so that if he strips this top hand, try to pull this top hand down, the hand that's on top, I have this hand, okay? I don't have a preference of which one because they both have their own powers. And here's what we're going to express right now and what you're going to train. First, you're going to train seat belt without legs, and then we're going to train legs and show you how you can control a person with either. And when you add both, you should be possible. One, if I have a nice seatbelt grip, I'm not just lightly holding my person. My chest is pressed against his back. My elbows are pulled back towards me. You feel that difference? My elbows come in, and I'm stopping his shoulder from moving right or left. So he can't turn right, he can't turn left. That's the idea of seatbelt grip. If you're too low and his shoulders are free, he can turn. So you want to be, when you have a seatbelt, over his shoulders. So either you're like this, like this, like this, I don't care. Now as long as he can't turn his shoulders, we're good. Now if he does choose to turn, and I don't have my legs, go ahead. I just go wherever he wants to go. Without having my points or my hooks or whatever you want to call that. I want my grip, and preferably, for the sake of what we do in here as a rule, I want my hands over his hands. I don't want him clawing towards my face or doing things to hurt me. So when I get a seatbelt grip, I'm not thinking Jiu-Jitsu. I'm thinking this guy could be trying to claw my hands. So I'm going to go always hands over his hands, always thinking about his shoulders, bringing my chin over the shoulder, bringing my head to his head so he's not trying to hit me with his head, and keeping myself short and tight. And if I don't have my hooks in, I'm pinching him with my knees. Now wherever he wants to go, like I said, just follow. Going, and he ends up in a pretty bad place here. He's already about to get rear naked choke. We're not going to talk about that because we did that in our last class. So your first exercise is using your knees, pinching, not with hooks, making sure you have one in, one over, preferably controlling the hands immediately, keeping yourself tight, chin over the shoulder, head to his head, elbows in so he can't turn left and right, and also, this is my connection. I'm not using a lot of energy. I'm not like squeezing for dear life. I'm just connecting enough that I can feel him like an antenna. So I'm breathing, I'm relaxed, and I can feel where he wants to go. To wherever he wants to go. Here we go, here we go. Here we go. Okay? So that's your first exercise. Alright, so start with your seatbelt grip, and then we're going to go for the second exercise, just our hooks and how we can maintain the same kind of control, okay? Okay? What is the reason why they say, okay, we get points in Jiu-Jitsu for getting our hooks in? Half the time, no one can explain it to you. They just get hooks in and don't understand what the reason is why we do this. What's the point? If I'm controlling his shoulders with my upper half, these are his rotational modules. What's his bottom half rotational module? It's his hip. When you have your hooks in, the point of these limbs, the strongest limbs in your entire body, by the way, is to control his hips. If he can turn his shoulders, he can get out. If he can turn his hips, he can get out. Now, just in a relaxed position, I don't want anybody grabbing anybody for this one. What you're going to do, I want you to, this is lazy, right? You feel that all day?
Yeah.
This is lazy.
Yeah.
Now, watch what happens when I pinch my knees and I start to push my feet down whether they're up on your feet, heel, here pushing, or on the inside, you feel the pinch, you feel me pushing, right? Now, as you try to escape, I can feel where you want to go, look. Relaxing, keep going. I feel where he wants to go. You can use your elbows on the mat, it's okay.
What if he grabs your feet?
You can grab it. I'm pinching. You can do anything you want, sir. I'm pretending that I have to do jiu-jitsu and I was born with no arms. Okay? I was born with no arms and I had to do jiu-jitsu and I knew I wanted to take his back and finish him with my legs. I have to have control of his hips. Okay? Or his upper body with my legs. And at some point, which happens in a fight, think about this. As we can see Ali, right? You feel the difference.
Yeah.
As he starts to try to turn left, I push my, to turn right, excuse me, I push my foot to the ground and my left foot locks out his left hip, my left leg. As he goes right, left, it's the same. I stay locking him out. If I have to turn with him, go ahead, that's okay. I turn with him, but look, I pull my heel in. Try to keep turning. Very difficult. Put my heel in, or I follow. I don't even have my arms around them. Right? So the argument of which is most important, having a seatbelt or your hooks, I can't argue with which is best. They both work. You have to understand how to use them both. Once you have both in your arsenal, it makes it almost impossible for a person to escape once you have control of their back. But as our teacher says, Master Joe, I don't want his back. I want his neck. So we're not here for a point-based system. We're here to finish fights, right? So when I take his back, what's the reason why I take his back? Well, the reason is because all of his weapons are facing away from me. His arms, his kicks, his punches, his bites, everything is that way. That's what makes the back position part of our system and most important. People don't understand that. They think I took him back, I'm going to choke this guy, I got to hold his back for points. No, we take the back so that we're safe. I can hit him, he can't hit me, right? And I'm in a safer place. Now, speaking of without having any arms, imagine, look, just pushing down on his hip, waiting for the opportunity for his elbow to come out, of him trying to escape. Look how I just switched my hips. Look at my leg coming over here. Body locks. Okay? Really, these hurt. If it's not a body lock, I'm already coming over. The arm's captured. If he sits up, the arm end is captured. Just with my legs alone, I should be able to do this stuff. Jiu-Jitsu is mostly legs. My hands are just to help me finish. Hands are free to help me finish fights. Okay? That's what they're for. But my legs are necessary for the control. Always. And what we're controlling generally, the majority of the time, whether we're high back, low back, all these different angles, is his turn, his opportunity to turn. So if you don't have his hips, you have his shoulders. You get what I'm saying, everybody? If you don't have his hips, you have his shoulders. So if it turns out that I have to go low now and I gotta switch, look what I do. I start to deal with his hips. He's on one hip, so I know he's trying to turn that way. Look at my feet, stopping that. If he does, then good. I'm gonna help him and I'm gonna go. Okay? It's either hips or shoulders. Now, when you add both together, you're Superman because you have hips and shoulders. So you can choose, right? So when the fight should be over quickly because you feel where you go. I'll give you a real fun, sneaky one you can do. Okay? Are we on film?
No.
Alright, so I'm going to give you 3 high finishers from back control and 1 real cool sneaky one we can do. Now remember, our back control system is definitely the seatbelt grip, but we're not worried about this because I don't want his hands free. I don't want him hurting me with that hand. I want my chin over the shoulder or my head tight to his head and looking away if I don't have his hands. I want my legs active, my knees active, my elbows I know we're ready to go. Okay, so now from here, the Jiu-Jitsu way is to just feel where he wants to go. So wherever man goes, he goes this way, cool. This is where we go. I can help, I can come under, come around, so you can see. His hands are trapped under me, look. As long as my heels are towards the sky, not on the mat, or my toes are on the mat at least, so that I don't hurt my heels. And I'm hipping it, you feel that, man?
Yep.
His hands right here are under me. So now I'm pushing his hands with my body. I can even come down just a little bit more to make it worse. And now I'm gonna free my hand just by making a knife hand and wiggling it out. Whichever way he's looking, I go the opposite side and bring my hand like I'm rubbing Vicks on his chest, right under his chin. Okay, from here, I can choke him just like that. But to make it super terrible, even if his hand comes out, this one comes under, okay? This one comes under my hand here, both elbows, and it looks like symmetrical. That's the one we want. That's our finish, okay?
What's that called?
This is a rear naked choke,
Okay.
top mount. This is the most dominating, most disgusting finish. This is Hickson's choke, man. This is what he won all his UFC fights in pride with. This is what Royce won all those fights with pride with. This is full domination, okay? I don't have to choke him either. I could just stay right here and keep his hands revved in and just sit up like this and hip in and wait until the police come. I could be punching him in his head, choking him, all kinds of things, okay? So that's submission number one. Now, follow where they go. You don't have to put any energy into it. They're trying to roll out. As soon as they roll out, they put you there. Okay? Second submission. The guy he doesn't want to give me his neck. He's really good with his base. We're not falling to the side. I don't know what to do here. But I have the underhook on his arm. I feel that. Look at what I do with my legs. Remember, we're controlling his hips. So my leg with my angle is going to cross. Look at my head come to the side. Look at my leg cross over his hips. Okay? Now, I'm going to reinforce that pin. Okay? My frame comes to his neck, and I have his arm. Okay? I have his arm here. Now all I have to do is take a step with my knee stays pitching on him, controlling one shoulder, look, controlling the other shoulder while I control his hips. So my knee stays pitching on him, I make myself a little bit of room. I stay pitching. I don't just swing my leg over because if he's good, he's gonna catch my leg. So I stay pitching, and preferably pitching until I can push his arm down. From here, I can put my leg over, or I don't even have to. I just take his arm, put it behind me here, and I finish him with his arm lock here, with his arm lock here, and I call all arm locks the same.
Oh,
The wrist
that
lock.
was not the fucking same.
Yeah, that's a wrist lock. Wherever his arm goes, if his arm goes here, it's Americano, okay? If his arm goes here, it's a Kimura, you just push his elbow. Okay, whichever way it goes, American arm lock from the side, from taking the back, okay? So that's our second option. And yes, you can throw your leg over his face. And you can, preferably you want to lock his hand down and look, hips in, and then I just bring his, wherever his peaky line is, I bring his elbow over the hip. See his peaky line? Bring his elbow right over the hip and I turn into it. And so he says tap. Okay? And if he starts pulling his arm, being strong, I just follow it up.
Ah, fuck, don't do that anymore.
So just real nice and easy. We have to make our space to cut to the side. So if you have to make a frame, kind of move a little bit, fall, so that you can get your foot in here, so that you can put your foot over, or put your foot over his arm, and take his arm. Remember, you have to make the space. Okay? You can't just put your leg, unless you have some, daddy long legs, spider legs, which is not going to be good for your knee anyway. Okay, make sure that you make a nice little angle, even if you have to scoot your butt, make a nice little angle for yourself. Okay, that also gives you options for body locks and things like that. But if you can't get the body lock or anything, just pinch or just come over the shoulder. If you're controlling his shoulder, okay? Anything goes. Once this arm comes, your shoulder locks this way, there's arm bars this way, okay? You get into Kimura controls, you come over to here, boom. Now we're into the arm lock position. I can take his arm, fall back with it. Break's gonna happen at some point. Come on, man. I know what that goes. So you say, make a person say hi, and the grip will grip at some point. But that's submission. Your final submission, your final lat percentage submission is again going to be a choke. But this time it's not going to be your rear naked. So I'm here, he's got good hands, and he's not allowing me to get the choke that I want. So what I want to do is I want to fall. I want to fall to the side that I have the underhook on. Okay? Even though it doesn't matter, I preferably want my elbow to keep his head from touching the floor. You never want his back to touch the floor. If his back and his head touch the floor, he's out. That's why my head stays on the side where I fall. You see? His shoulder, his head can't touch the floor. Okay? From here, I can start digging for my choke. But watch what happens. You see what he does with his hand to protect it? So once he starts protecting from here, what you want to do is just go ahead and look where I am. I already go ahead, shoot this arm through. This is not on YouTube, by the way, so don't try to find it. This is through our system. Shoot this arm through, and go ahead and just head an arm until he taps. Okay? Van knows how to defend it now, but if you don't have the defense, just remember when they stripped his hand, you can always get your arm in. And you can get a head and arm like this very easy. Okay? Okay? If you're not going to get the choke. Okay? So that's our third, the head and arm. And obviously, if you can get your rear naked choke, get your rear naked choke.
And the thing is, even this, I'm not going anywhere.
Right.
All I'm doing is keeping you from killing me.
He's got good defense.
Sooner or later, I'm going to wear out.
He's got good defense. Don't get me wrong. Van knows what he's doing. There's a lot of nasty things we could do if we're talking about fighting. You know, I could put my here in the socket. I could be pulling his nose back, reaching for his face. I could be punching him a couple of times. Whatever it is you got to do to get it. But you also got to remember.